Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Lyric Explorer, the show where I get to invite my favorite artists and I watch them unpeel their Photoshop files while they talk with me. Today with us, we have Tanisha. She's a good friend of mine. She is going to be showing some character designs that she's working for a project of hers. I guess we're both like world builders, so when we develop a project like this, we're very excited to explore not just the main characters, but how all the other sides of the world, all that these characters are not even the protagonists, they're just kind of crowd characters that she's exploring. We do digress a lot in this episode, so it was a tricky one for me to edit. So it's a little bit, in some moments, it's a little bit choppier because I'm making an effort for the episodes to go a little bit to half an hour. So this was like an attempt, a little bit of that. So it is a little bit choppier, but it was an amazing conversation and I hope you guys enjoy it. So enjoy. Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Lyric Explorer, the show where I get to invite my favorite artists and watch them unpeel their Photoshop files or their Procreate files while they talk about their methods and the processes that they have behind their artworks. Today with us, we have Tanisha, a good friend of mine, also a designer for animation. She does background, character, prop. She also works in VFX. And I haven't seen what we will be looking at today. So Tanisha told me that it's characters. I don't want to see it. I don't want to spoil it. I want to discover it with the audience. I love when people don't start with a painting straight away. So I'm going to be going through all of the plot twists as we go through. But Tanisha, do you want to present yourself?
Yep. Hi, I'm Tanisha, and yeah, as Pedro said, I work in VFX. I'm a previs artist. I draw for fun. So I would love to do all this professionally, but at the moment I haven't. But it is just something I do in my spare time, and something I've like been developing in my spare time for the most part. Oh, and I'm based in London, if that helps.
And based in London, yeah. I need to. I've been hearing about like the groups in London that I know start to like cross, and you start to meet like other people in other groups as well. And I feel like I know a lot of people in like these different types of groups that I've never actually been in these events where people get to like meet each other and hang out or like party together or something like that. But one day, maybe I'll get a flight from like on my way to Berlin. I'll get a flight to London on a day that like one of these parties is happening, and I'll join for a bit.
Yeah, no, things have been overlapping a lot recently in the last year, I think. Because I obviously did the mentorship with you last year, not really knowing how you're connected to people in the industry. And then I also, since last year, I've been part of like this drawing group in London, which is run by my friend EJ. And then we went to Annecy this year, and there was just so much overlap. Turns out everyone knows everyone.
I stayed with EJ in the house in Annecy.
Yeah,
that's how I met him. Yeah,
exactly. And like when he was like, "Yeah, I'm like living with Pedro," and I was like, "Wait, Pedro? Like Pedro?"
Yeah,
and he was like, "Yeah," and I was like,
so
"What?"
Funny. I did not know he was hosting this drawing. I've heard about these drawing like things, but I'm discovering now that he's the one that hosts it. Like that's really cool, actually.
Yeah, he's part of many groups, and yeah, it's just a great community in London.
Yeah.
And then through you, I've met Barnaby, and
my baby.
Through that, I've been going to a lot of indie animation screenings as well, so happening about in London. So yeah, there's just been a lot of overlap, and I feel like you're at the center of it all. So
really, I think Barnaby's at the center. Like I think Barnaby's like a social nuclear core. And then everything
I feel
kind
like
of
you guys
orbits.
are all like different, like I feel like you guys are all different like solar systems kind of clashing. So it's like you, Barnaby, and EJ, just the holy trinity.
Yeah. It's so funny. But okay. Can you give us some context without spoiling it, without showing it to us? Can you give us some context about like what we're going to be looking at?
Okay, so it's a character design lineup, but more not final characters and no characters with names. It was more like an exploration of people, so closer to like world building, I think, than it is for like actual final character. So it's very like kind of loose. I think it's loose compared to like some other stuff. But yeah,
I can see a Nami pillow behind you, so I can see a love for world
Oh
building.
yeah. Do you see the ace hat?
Ace hat. Well, let me see. Because I can see only. Oh, I see it now.
Oh.
I'm only seeing it now. Okay.
And then I think on the wall I've got my Luffy hat.
That
got
is
too much One Piece.
amazing. That is amazing. I have like.
That also might be a hint about what it's gonna be, but maybe it's not. It's not fan art. It's not fan art. But
Well, okay. Okay. I'm excited. Fun fact about me. I'm revealing this fun fact on this episode, which I think it might be episode 25 or maybe 20. I'm not sure if it's gonna be like maybe 26. One Piece is one of my favorite things in the world. I love it so much, and I was so happy when little birds from the industry told me that Tanisha also loves One Piece. So I was very excited for this. I knew it was gonna come up in this conversation. So
she's
here we
only
are.
on episode 270 or something, so I'm very, very early on, so no spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers.
But yeah.
Cool. Should we get to the layers?
Yes.
Let's do it.
I was about to say no just to troll you, but
I saw you thinking about like,
okay.
Can I fit in a joke in here? Okay. So what is our first layer?
Our first layer, technically it's not the first layer, but it is the first layer. It should be the first layer.
Ladies and gentlemen, in our midst, we have another merger episode here. So Tanisha was just telling me that I love how canon this is becoming. I was just commenting that of like, I started using the term merger, and now I've had a couple of people in here being like, yeah, I think I'm a merger. So this was done in one layer. No, it's not done in one layer.
So ignore this. So this was, well, don't ignore it, but it's kind of relevant. So like what I like to do, I like to kind of collect my references, but also just like any work I've done on a project, if it is a bigger project. So as I said, this was kind of like a world building project. So I have like a world in mind, and it's kind of like this fishing village being built out of water, and there's going to be like shipwrecks and buildings built into the shipwreck and all that stuff, and just like loads of boats. But I was making this in 3D. I can zoom in, I guess. But I was making this in 3D using this app on the iPad called Feather 3D, which is really good. It's great if you're a 2D artist typically and want to explore 3D.
Never heard about
but yeah,
this.
so I just wanted to keep this as, I recommend it. If you have an iPad, I think it does cost about like £15. I don't know what that would be in euros, but
that sounds really fun. Yeah. Wow.
I recommend. But yeah, it's very painterly and it's cool. Anyway, so I like to kind of just gather things that I've done on the project in one place before doing like references and stuff. So I have like a folder for references, which I keep either in the file or like a Pinterest board or like VisRef, which is like another reference kind of mood board app, which is free. Anyway, so should I move on to the next layer?
You are the DJ.
I guess.
You get to pick it.
Okay. So for inspiration, I was watching a lot of Arcane, but I'm a big fan of like the League like concept art and stuff.
Wait, that's the JJK crab battle, right?
Yeah. Spoilers if you've not seen it.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have given a heads up, because yeah, that's pretty shit. Spoiler heavy. But what I really like about this episode, sorry, I know I was talking about League, but I'll talk about JJK since we quickly went on that. I think I really like the animation style in this, or like the shading style, I guess, on the characters, because the shadows were all like super saturated, and like it was just such like a neon kind of episode, which was cool. And I think there are some One Piece episodes out there which have a similar style. But
you'll get there in about 1,000 episodes. Yeah.
I don't want to spoil myself. So JJK was the closest I could get. But yeah, I really like these like.
Can you zoom in a little bit on these shadows that you're talking about?
Yeah. Oh, it's really pixelated. I'm sorry, but if you, I don't know, they're like basically red. Like when typically I think they'd be like a dark brown or something, or blue, or just it's not realistic, but it's fun. And then these was just some like concept art characters I found from League of Legends. So I have like this art book / like, what's it called? I have it on my shelf here. It's called Realms of Runeterra, and it's just a bunch of like short stories and concept art, environment designs, backgrounds, characters, story. Did I already say stories? I said stories.
Just a lot of stories.
just a lot of stories. It's a really fun book. If you like world building or just lore, I like that stuff. So
Yeah, me too.
but yeah, this is one of my favorite pieces, and I just really like I don't know, it almost looks like watercolor. It's still detailed, and it just feels very like they're clearly just characters that live in the world, because as far as I know, I don't recognize any of these as official champions, but that's kind of like the vibe I wanted with these characters. It's like they're not necessarily like main characters. They're just people who live in this town that I'm slowly building. This isn't the finished version, obviously, but well, not obviously, but I'm telling you it's not finished. Anyway, how do I? Sorry, I'm exposing myself. I don't know how to zoom.
You got
And then
this.
for costumes and yeah, I also really like fashion design and like fashion magazines and yeah. So obviously Bruno Mars is not part of that, but these guys would be. But yeah, Wisdom K and Zed Urban are like two fashion influencers I really like on Instagram. They're super cool, but they like this guy, Wisdom K. He does a lot of like characters, but like in high fashion. So he's got like these Avatar Last Airbender ones, which I love, but like I really
I
like the
love it so
Zoro one that
much.
he's got.
Yeah. His One Piece stuff is so cool.
It's very cool. And yeah, I just really like this kind of like layered clothing approach. And when I do characters, I have a tendency to do a lot of costume design. Or I think I like my human characters a lot. So I struggle with like creatures or like monsters or whatever, but when it comes to humans, I do enjoy like clothes, and thinking about what the characters wear and like what kind of style they're going to be in. And then the next chunk of references was like street photography, specifically, mostly actually from India, that I found on Pinterest. But what I really liked was that it just seemed like they were kind of all very active and had some like they're living in the world, you know, like they're not posing, they're not, I don't know what the word where I'm going with this is, but what I'm trying to say is yeah, like they clearly have jobs or like lives, and someone's just captured that, and that was kind of what I wanted to do with my lineup, where the characters aren't necessarily like posing for you, and yeah, I can kind of just see what they might be doing.
Cool. So you're gonna draw a pose doing something that is like relevant to the character instead of like the character stopped for this pose to be kind of drawn. It's like they're doing something that is
Yeah,
relevant for the story.
yeah. I didn't want to do like where they're like looking at the camera or even even at each other. Like I think it depends if you're doing like a hero character lineup, sometimes like having character interactions is quite good,
Yeah.
and like having them like kind of look at each other and whatever. But for the purpose of this exercise, which was just like figuring out like what kinds of people might live here, it wasn't super necessary that they look at each other or interact. I just kind of wanted kind of almost like they would work as like standalone like illustrations of the characters, or I could stick them into this world and it would look like that they're like living in there and doing something. That was the goal. I don't know if I achieved that. I guess we will see. But because it's a fishing village and a water-based place, I looked at some fishermen as well. They wear a lot of like wellies, and I really like these like long nets that they have, almost like bags. I guess that's what they are. I don't know what the words are for these. Yeah, I wanted to do something like that. And there's like yeah, a lot of old men as well. Fishermen. When you Google fishermen, you tend to just get old men. But yeah, I guess I will hide this for now. The way I usually do it, I save this out and then I just have it open on a like another tab or just next to while I'm working, something just to look at or refer to.
Interesting.
But yeah.
The first thing that I thought was like the fact that you have the references in another tab, because I feel like for me, 2/3 of my Photoshop file is references, all kind of like a collage, and then 1/3 is like the background or the character, which I think is a very inefficient way of approaching this. And I'm kind of excited to get a second screen, so maybe I can put it on the second screen while I'm painting. But so having it on another tab, but you do this in Procreate, right?
Yeah, so I do split screen, so it ends up being quite small. I also don't always make a layer in Photoshop or Procreate or whatever for references. As I said, sometimes I just have Pinterest like I just scroll through, and like if I've got things saved, I can just like find them in these categories. Yes, but yeah, I don't necessarily always lay it out like this. So this isn't something I always do. I don't want people to think that I'm super organized or whatever and I label everything. I don't.
Fair.
Also, I didn't address this, I think, but I was thinking of like I heard about like this anime style called Kaganeshi, which is, I think, when you Google it, there's like a YouTube video that pops up, which I think explains it really well or like shows it really well. But essentially, it's like this anime style where they use minimal shadows, and they tend to just paint light. I think again, One Piece uses it in later seasons.
I did not know this. I'll definitely search this.
I really like it. It's I think from my memory it was like developed by like people who were doing like fan animations on YouTube and stuff. So like people who were just like learning animation or 2D animation, that kind of thing, and just kind of wanted to quickly make animation. And it's kind of grown from that. JJK uses it a lot in some of their fight sequences. If you've seen season 2, not so much in season 1, but season 2. But yeah, I don't think I didn't put any references for that here because I didn't end up like strictly following that kind of concept for this, but I thought it was nice to just keep that in mind, that was something I was interested in at one point. But yeah, back to sketches. Okay, so I did some like exploratory like sketches. I like to do it in blue, but I think that's just because I used to have a erasable blue pencil that I used to draw with a lot, and then I lost it. But I just like blue.
Is that the ones you get for free at AUB? No, those are the animation pencils, right?
No, I wish I didn't go to AUB, so I wouldn't know.
Oh wait, did you go to BU?
I went to BU.
To BU.
I was across the street.
That's true. Best free events are at BU. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, but you guys had a better life drawing class, I think. Or like definitely a better space. I used to crash the animation production life drawing.
Love that. That's good.
Thank you to everyone who let me in. So yeah, I did these sketches. This guy, I actually ripped straight from one of the references, which was, I think, this one. I just sketched him. I liked that pose and I liked what he was carrying. And I think sometimes just sketching straight from pictures or life or whatever and just building on that works a lot better for me than coming up with poses myself. Yeah. Sometimes I like to take pictures of myself and pose, but I will never be showing those.
Same.
But yeah, those are just for me. But yeah, so I ripped that pose off. There was a character that was kind of like a police-based character, and that's when I was like exploring her. She's kind of like Caitlyn from Arcane a bit, but I quickly at this stage realized that I didn't want to do main characters. I just kind of wanted to first figure out civilians and just people who live there. But yeah, I'll show you my sketch. I guess it's final-ish.
Wow.
I definitely had some, I'm very sorry, but I definitely had like layers underneath all this, which I have since erased and merged and have lost completely. But yeah, I can't sketch straight like this. I have to do like the whole stick figure circles and everything, like, and then I put the clothes on top.
Very cool.
This was actually, I surprised myself. I drew this and I was like, shit, like, because I was in a bit of like a art block, I think, when I was working on this, and like I wasn't really like feeling a lot of the stuff I was drawing. And then when I started working on this, I started with this kid here. When I drew him, I really, really enjoyed myself. Then I drew him, and then I drew him, and then it just kind of spiraled. And like it was just supposed to be one character. It wasn't supposed to be a lineup or just like an exploration of the same character. I don't tend to go into my personal things with a strong plan. I probably should because I'd save a lot of time. But yeah, I don't like cleaning up my sketch too much.
Feels like very like gestural drawing. It feels like almost like one of those like quick life drawing poses, like the way that curves are done and the stuff.
I very much enjoy life drawing. At this stage, I think this was last year, so I hadn't actually been going to life drawing much. So I think what I wanted to do was just like practice poses as well. If you can see, I haven't really tried with the hands much. They're kind of just like scribbles or like gestures off a hand, and unfortunately, I never go back and fix that. Yeah. If this was like a final lineup, if these were like hero characters and it wasn't just like this like loose exploration that I wanted to do, I would probably go back and like.
But these are just peasants.
Yeah,
They don't
definitely
deserve good hands.
they're just civilians. They don't deserve. Like I don't know how he's holding this stick.
But I think I don't know. There's like a bit of texture there that like it adds a certain movement. The fact that it's kind of ambiguous. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I find like that's the kind of power in like line drawings where you can just do like 3 lines and it in like my imagination kind of fills the rest. Like I can see the hand, but the hand is not there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I have the same, like when I'm doing like life drawing and stuff, like I do just do like little blobs, like scribbles like this. But then when I want to tidy up a sketch or like a character and actually go into the details, I struggle so much. So I definitely try and avoid doing that, but I think it's something I need to work on and just skill up in that section. But yeah, I think I've gotten better at shoes. So
cool.
Shoes are fun.
That's a very specific level up.
Yeah, just slightly better at shoes. Maybe, and the thing is, I think I'm good at like these kinds of shoes, like what these two people are wearing. Not so much boots. Boots still confuse me.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
But these shoes, I can sketch pretty well. Okay. Oh, I also like to throw in a perspective grid at the bottom, just to make it feel like they're next to each other, even if they're not supposed to be or whatever. It's just nice to do that, and like I think it helps me actually figure out like where they should stand or like how they should stand and stuff, and just make sure I've got like the proportions right roughly. For this piece, I tried like a different approach to like what I usually do, which is just like color and like light. So I use the lasso tool.
Mwah, love it. Use it all the time.
I wish I could say I've done more in this style. I haven't, but I want to. But yeah, so what I started with was I rearranged the file a little bit so that I can show you chronologically of like the order of things I do, but I move my layers around a lot like as I work, so they don't stay in this order. So they might have been made in this order, but they don't stay in this order. So I like to put my sketch on top.
Interesting.
Yeah, so then underneath that's when I add like this layer, which is just like a fill kind of thing. Initially, I didn't have like things like this or like little details that I would add later, but the general idea was that like, yeah, I just want to block it out. I wish I didn't merge everything, but after this, I use the clipping mask thing, because I actually only learned about this 2 years ago, which is so embarrassing.
I love it so much. I use it all the time.
I know, I love it too, but I can't remember. One of my friends, like I sent her like a time lapse or something of what of like my Procreate piece, and she saw it and she was like, Tanisha, what are you doing? Like, and she explained like clipping masks to me, and I was like, holy shit, like how did I not know about this? Because what I used to do was I used to just color, and then
we had an episode here that was like, I think it was with James, episode 6, I think, where he showed us this painting with a lot of characters, like with an entire crowd. And this was early on in an earlier stage of Photoshop, I think, and he did not use clipping layers. And I was like, oh my God, like a crowd is like, it's pointing at a crowd and all of them are in layers and shaded, but the shade have the shape of like, that is so impressive. Like I was like, I've never seen this before, but sorry, what were you saying?
No, but yeah, ever since I've learned about clipping layers, I haven't looked back. They are so useful, but I used to just paint on top. And I used to do what clipping layers do, manually, which was I used to paint on top, and then I used to use this base thing and select everything around this and then delete. Yeah, it was long.
That is long.
Yeah. I've been saving so much time, so thank you, Zara. Shout out Zara. She taught me this. Yeah. Anyway, so for this project, I actually learned this from you ish, I think. But I wanted to improve my like values and still keep it colorful because that I really enjoy using loads of colors and stuff. But I wanted to be more like mindful of the colors I'm using and why, which I tend to just do what feels good. So I kind of wanted to put a little bit more thought into that. So what I started with was like a grayscale kind of lasso tool thing here. It's not grayscale, but it is technically. I don't like going completely black and white, but obviously you can. I also use this brush in Procreate, which is it's kind of like this like horizontal, almost like a palette knife brush, and it's got like this color variation thing. So like every time you put it down, it's a slightly different color. So you can kind of, if you look super closely, you can kind of see like I've got that going on here, where it's like
add some nice texture to it.
Yeah. So I prefer doing that, but I didn't always do that. I think it would work fine if I didn't do that, and I can always add that in later as well. But I do it at this stage, and I actually no wait, I won't say this yet. I'll save this for later.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, so this is foreshadowing. It's like what, Skypea?
Like Skypea.
Yeah, anyway, so this is how I started for all the characters in this group. So with her, I did like the base and then the grayscale. This one took me the longest actually because I think I could actually have improved it, to be honest, a little bit, because her shorts and her skin kind of merge here. But I think that's a note for future me. But yeah, I think maybe I should do this more often, just like reflect on my process a little bit. But yeah, I also wanted to give her like these like scars or like jellyfish burns kind of thing on her legs. So cool. This is kind of like around when like I start to add like some details and stuff, because like if I turn off the sketch, then that's when you can kind of, it just feels like I can start to get more like painterly with it. And the lasso tool was great for these like stings or scars that I wanted to give her, because I just scribbled something and then just hoped for the best. And then I just warp tool and move them around. And yeah, clipping masks are great. So I do all of this on different layers. Unfortunately, they are no longer existent. But yeah, so cool. And then okay, I did do them individually, but for the sake of this, they have been merged as well. But
ruthless merger here today. She's merging every out of control.
I'm so sorry.
I don't think it's a negative thing at all. Like I think it's like it does help a certain organicness about it, like the
I think because especially like on Procreate, because it's like smaller screen than it is on Photoshop, like I find it easier to have fewer layers.
Yeah.
So I can just scroll through it a lot quicker and find things a lot quicker. And I also don't name my layers usually, so I group them. I group them a lot. I love groups.
Do you name the groups?
I sometimes I have in this case, but not always. I've named them as the trio, which is these guys because they're like together, and then she's the baby mama, and that's the fish girl because she's carrying fish. Very, very thought out names. But yeah, I think some of these, like in terms of values, are stronger than others. I also think that when I bring in some colors, I might be salvaging some of the issues here. But yeah, I like to keep my sketch on top as well, because I think that sometimes adds a little bit of like detail to everything that you don't get when you're completely lineless. So yeah, I do that. And I also turn the opacity like way down, which I will show you in a second properly of like what I do, because yeah, I'm lazy and I still want detailed things, but I don't want to redo things that I've already done. Yeah, I guess I will move on.
Let's do it.
I'll hide that sketch layer for now though.
So now you apply it like with blending modes, or straight up color?
This I was so lazy. I was so lazy. I used gradient maps like a lot, but I made like new gradient maps for each of the characters. So I also used this app/website. I can't remember. It's called Coolors, Coolors. It can generate random color schemes for you, or you can upload a picture that you've taken or that you've found online, and it will generate a color scheme or like a palette for you. And you can also like select how many colors you want in that. So you could have like, I think you can have like 10 or 15, but I like to go for 5 because it's like a good, I think it keeps it like,
Keeps it kind of bold, kind of like,
yeah, and like focused. And
yeah,
and that way I don't get like too lost in what I want to do.
interesting.
But yeah, these were just some of my like the color schemes that I saved out for this project. You can probably tell I really like bright colors, but yeah, I think I actually used all of these and I made different gradient maps for them. But then I would change colors a lot because some it doesn't work always. And
That's super cool. I've never seen, like at least on Layer Explorer, I've never seen someone reaching colors through that. Especially, I'm curious to see what these gradient maps, how this is gonna look like. Or is this gonna be one of those merger things that we'll actually not see it?
I'm so sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry. That's why I put the palettes in here because
That's so funny.
yeah. So I'll talk through my process. I
Go,
can't
go, go,
show
go,
it. I
go.
can show it if you have the video. The video will be playing here, maybe,
Go.
and you might be able to see me mess up some colors. I did actually rewatch the video yesterday just to remind myself of like what I did. But this guy, he went through the most color changes. This
Mm-hmm.
one was pretty much set from the start. Yeah, I don't remember how these guys develop, but we will see, I guess, in a bit. But yeah, because kind of like with him, I kind of wanted to give like a Zorro vibe a little bit, but it didn't end up becoming a Zorro kind of character. But I'm trying to think because I think I've forgotten what the final characters, what their color schemes were. But let's go. I will start with her. Oh, I'm pointed at the screen thinking that you can see my hand. I'll start with her. So these were the colors, like the flat colors that I went with for her. And again, I used the brush that has like some variation, so you can see it in her trousers, in her shorts and stuff.
Wow.
And then with the scars, like I could have gone like more realistic, like pink. But I don't know. I thought this is a fantasy-ish environment. There were going to be pirates in this place, so I was like, I kind of want to just go a bit like different. But yeah, this was all on separate layers. I'm so sorry.
I think it's very clear the way you were explaining like what you did with the layers. So it's not you turning them on one at a time. I think you've done such a clear explanation that I can see the differences. I can see the different colors that you applied,
Yeah,
where they come from because of those palettes. So it's still very clear.
yeah. Thank you. Okay, I'm glad. Cool. So after I've done like the base colors, I like to start the lighting. And in this particular like piece, I think I actually started with him, but I'm gonna start with her for the sake of just keeping it one character
Yeah.
for now. But I like blending mode. So this layer is the sketch layer. So this one doesn't have a blending mode, but if you can see, like I've got the sketch on, and it's on a clipping mask. Is that what they're called? I just blanked. Clipping mask. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that way, any of the sketch that was kind of bleeding over the the base that I had, it kind of gets cut off. And that actually used to be like a style I used to really enjoy working in, where I would just
Interesting.
sketch and then I'd do like the colors underneath, and then I would I would like kind of carve out the sketch and the color together. I don't know. I really liked that look, and I felt that this was like kind of a way I could incorporate that a little bit. And yeah, it does add like some details to the colors that I, missed. And then this one, it's called layer 24. This is on an overlay, opacity 51. Hold on.
I
Yeah,
love that you
and this one
specified the
is
number of this
just
one, but not the number of the other ones. But I think all of them are a layer and
oh,
then a number after, right?
yeah, I'm so sorry. But I was so smart because later, after I workshopped it, I made like this note where it's the color that I'm using, the blend mode, and then the opacity percentage, and then I would apply that as a starting point for all the characters, and then maybe if needed, tweak it and stuff. Like technically, I could have merged everything and just done it all on one layer, but I wanted to be able to move these characters around, so like reposition them if I needed to. So I wanted to, this is why I did actually keep things separate and not merge her. Whereas with the trio, I did. They also they don't like overlap, whereas like these guys overlap. So I thought it was better to keep it separate. So yeah, that's why I kept these notes. So I'll turn that on for now. So yeah, I
Cool.
started with overlay, which kind of just makes the colors a bit warmer, and I like this look instead of the base kind of look. And then the next one is color burn, and I think this is when I go into like the actual shadows that I want for it. And I went with color burn because if you remember in like my references, with the really saturated like shadows,
Yeah.
in JJK, I kind of wanted to see what blend modes kind of get me that effect. And I think color burn tends to really like, yeah, it burns your base essentially. Yeah, it just looks a lot warmer and saturated, I think. And there's just a lot more contrast. And I think it worked out well. It's obviously not in the same, I don't know, extreme kind of colors that they had in JJK, but I quite like this. And then also I was thinking I had the League of Legends art book open at my desk. So I was just constantly looking at that and kind of thinking about how to recreate that style, but in my own way. So yeah, color burn at 29%. And then we've got color dodge, which is the highlights.
Cool.
So you can, I'll just zoom in so you can see it properly. I don't think I needed highlights, but I wanted to add them in, I think, because it's always fun. Gives it a bit more depth, I think. And yeah, that was at this like pinky kind of color. And this one is just saturation. I wanted to increase the saturation of all this. I think in Photoshop you can do like adjustment layers and stuff, which is quite fun. I don't think I can do that in Procreate, so I just make like a layer for that, and I set it to 69%, which I think would just bring everything to like roughly 69% saturation.
Cool.
Actually, no, sorry, no, it would match the red or like that saturation, but then I tone it down. So I'm kind of like flattening the colors a little bit.
Super cool. And if you do that to all the characters, then they all kind of share a palette, which is super cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know if I can throw in my top tip or hot tip now, or
only at the end. Only at the end.
Shit, but okay.
Or maybe you can
fine,
give us
then I have
this
to come
tip.
up with another one. But okay. I'll give you my tip. But as I said, I like to not have my layers in order. So I have this. I usually have like a saturation layer in black, which is set to 100% right at the top. So I can just constantly easily check my values when I'm adding color and stuff, and just make sure it still looks good. And if it doesn't, then I can like select like, I don't know, her shorts and just make them darker. Maybe that's what I should have done in this case. But
love it.
Yeah, it just helped me kind of make sure that things look good. But yeah, I just toggle that on and off, and that just lives at the top, layer 26. So yeah, I'll just move on to the others, I guess. So yeah, base colors, sketch, and then it's the overlay and the shadows. This one I actually struggled with the shadows a lot because there was a lot of like cloth here. So I looked at references of people of like, I don't know what they're called, but they make like slings for like babies just with like a sash. So I kind of wanted that. I thought it was fun to add a baby to it.
Super cool.
and she or he's got a very grumpy face. But I actually love that expression a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wanted to add fish to this basket. I don't know why I didn't.
There is fish in the basket. You just can't see it from this angle.
It's just down here. Yeah, exactly.
That's the
There's
lore.
fish. But yeah, I do remember like the thought process where I was like, yeah, I'll add a fish tail kind of hanging out, and now I'm looking at it and I'm like, you didn't do that. You forgot. I think I lose steam very quickly, which is something I need to work on. But yeah, I do get tired of projects, and that's a big reason why I don't finish a lot of things I start. But I am happy I did finish this. But yeah, if you can see, I'm not really trying to add like big shadows. I know I did here in this case, but for most of the characters, I think I didn't do like kind of just focused on like the creases or like the darkest points where the shadows would be, and that was because I kind of wanted to, I think, keep it flat-ish. I don't remember the thought process actually. But yeah, there was a reason. There was a reason. I think because I think I tried it. You will maybe see this in the video, but I did try it, making like this right leg. Yeah, it's her right leg darker because it's obviously like further in depth and there is a lot more like stuff casting shadows, and I didn't like what it looked like. And
I see. Okay.
that's it. Like there was no real strong thought process behind it. I think sometimes I just don't like what things look like, and I don't do it. I
see.
probably should put some more thought behind it, but yeah. And then highlights, I think really helped in this case because yeah, it does really indicate that this bit is shadow and that was light instead of working from light to dark. I don't know what this is. Oh yeah, it's the saturation layer, and this layer. Oh yeah, because it's because this character is like behind these guys technically and her, I wanted to add like a gradient, like a white gradient, just to kind of wash her out. So I added it here. It's not super noticeable, but it was good enough for me, I think. But yeah, it kind of just works as a kind of like mist kind of effect almost.
Very cool.
And then these guys, these were the colors I ended up with. Yeah, I did kind of go with Zorro colors a little bit.
Yeah, super
But
nice.
this palette was actually, I think, actually one of the ones I found earlier. So yeah, it was this one. I'll just move it here for now. It was this palette basically that I stole and I stuck onto this guy, and then I went back and tweaked things. So yeah, he's got blue hair. Doesn't look like that though, I think, when you put lighting on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes quite fun, like with colors and color theory in general. Like some colors, they just don't look like they are actually the color that they are. Does that make sense?
Yeah. A lot. It's I remember when I was a student and someone explained that to me for the first time. I was like, no. It's like the colors are like lying to me. Like it's so cool, and when you become aware of it, it's actually quite simple, like quite a simple principle when you become aware of it.
I don't think I want to get better at intentionally doing that. In this case, I didn't intentionally do that. I think I was very happy with his hair being blue. but yeah, I think with these characters, I used layer masks. Yes, I don't. Why did my yeah? So I used layer masks for these guys. But yeah, I've got the sketch layer, then I've got the overlay. Oh, it all turned on at once.
Wow.
Sorry, spoilers.
Spoilers.
That shouldn't have happened. But yeah, overlay, which just unifies the characters a little bit. And then the color burn, which is just the key shadows. Yeah, so what I was trying to say, I think earlier with her like leg and like putting that in shadow was kind of something similar to what I did with this old man's leg. If you can see, it's darker in the background and stuff, and I wanted to do that, but I just couldn't figure it out with her leg. And I have a feeling it might be to do with perspective and the pose, which I might have gotten a bit wrong. But yeah, it worked out really well for him. And then what? Oh yeah, the color dodge, which is just the highlights and saturation. So in the end, they all look very saturated.
Super
but they
cool.
kind of do look like they live together.
Yeah.
I have just noticed this note, and I don't know what it means.
What does it
I
say?
might have to do a techwear utilitarian, but make it practical. So I think that's like a note I made for the type of clothing I wanted them to have.
I
I
see.
want to
Okay.
Google it. Oh gosh, I want to zoom out. There we go. I'm not sure if I use that. I'm gonna Google it on the side very quickly because I'm curious.
Let's do it.
If that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
It's basically this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I stayed true to that. I think I might have had it as a starting point with him. I very quickly, I think, changed directions. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah.
I think it started from the little note, and you're trying to understand what that note meant and what was it
Yeah.
trying to
Oh
inform.
yeah. So I think I did make a note just for myself to remember because yeah, I think I worked on this over a few weeks. So I think when you're not working on something consistently, you just kind of need to throw in like little reminders of like what direction maybe you were headed in or
Yeah.
whatever. Especially if you're like me and you don't keep your references all in one place. So yeah. So that was that, and then we're almost done. I add details on a separate layer. So this was on a multiply layer, and you can barely see them, but I think if I'm correct, yeah, there was a lot on the baby, just like the mouth kind of stuff that I didn't really like. And I'm gonna just check where else it could be. I don't know. We will never know. I guess it wasn't detailed enough. I'm sure there was something here, but who knows?
If you press Control T,
But
it
yeah, I
transforms
definitely
so you
remember.
can see like the edge of it where it is, and it kind of
The
hints
thing
you
is,
where.
because it's a Procreate file, it just changes it to because it's not vector based Procreate.
Yeah.
So it changes things. So yeah, I think if I undo, there was definitely some stuff here. Okay, I can't see it. So I don't know how
Interesting.
important it was, but when
Yeah.
I was working on it, it was important to me. I think that's important. I've said important way too many times, but I think it's good to do things that kind of make you feel at peace with your thing and can
Yeah.
because I have a tendency to, especially after I post, because I I get so excited after I finish something, I just post it right away. I don't like to schedule my posts, which I think I should more, but when I do that, I end up like staring at it for so long and then I see all the little mistakes. So yeah, and when I finished this, I think yeah, I did notice a lot of like mistakes. I didn't post it right away though. I did notice mistakes and like or just things that were bothering me. So I think like whatever makes you feel good about your piece, because it usually I think it is good and it's stuff that no one would notice. Only you would notice because you've been staring at it for days, weeks,
My
months
life.
even, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's just good to yeah, do whatever you want so that you're happy with it.
Very cool. And
But yeah,
was this like
and
our
then I've got
final
my
layer?
signature layer. Yeah, that was my signature layer is my final layer technically, but
Nice. Wait, where is
and
it?
then I've got the saturation layer.
Where is the signature
It's
layer?
barely noticeable. It's the layer, it's up
Oh,
here,
it's
but
there.
this is it's just
Nice.
my initials and then the year because I was in 2024, which is scary because I thought I did this year.
Yeah, I'm still digesting 2020,
um,
but we're already 2025.
for real,
So I
yeah.
feel you. Yeah, it's fun to see like how with like two layers, because the truth is like we did it in 5 characters, so it looked more than what it was in terms of layers, but it literally is like you block out the tones. I mean, after the sketch, you block out the tones, you add a shadow, highlight, detail.
Mhm.
In the case of the character in the background, you maybe added a gradient to push the character back a little bit, but it is like really
Yeah,
kind of graphic and blocky the way you
it's
you kind
yeah.
of carve the three-dimensionality of the character, and that's super cool.
I also think it's quite repetitive as well. Like once you figure out like the process that you like or that works for you, you can essentially just copy and paste that process like to all the characters to make them feel like together. You don't have to, I don't know, reinvent the wheel every time,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I think the next step would be actually putting them in the environment. But in the end, actually, I really like this piece and I really like how they look. But I decided that this was not the direction I wanted to go in for the civilians in my project. So this was kind of just like a viz dev piece in the end, I think,
Interesting.
that showed me a style I really like, which I really like the style and this like kind of working process, but maybe I don't think this is the in terms of clothes, this is where I'm going with. This is
Yeah.
what I'm doing. I think that's what I do really like about character design and costume design and keeping it loose, as I think I have for the most part. Like I think when I say loose, I mean I haven't added details and like loads of details, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
if you zoom in like properly, you can see where I've selected like I've color selected his hair and then just shifted the hue, and then I've not gone back to fix that, which is bothering me now, but it didn't bother me a while ago.
I would have never thought about that if you didn't zoom in and talk about it.
You can see it on his fingers. You can see it on his fingers as well.
Yeah, no, this is my life. Like this, like selection, like little edge thing with the color. It's you can see it a lot on my paintings.
Yeah, but I don't hate the look of it, and I think it works well when it's like not super final as well. But yeah,
Cool.
I ended up saying that this was a cool piece to have, but not where I wanted to take it, because what I wanted to do was add more details and more like maybe embroidery to like these scarves, or just some like dirt splashes or like splatter on this. But I saw all of them together. As much as I do want to still add those things, it was almost like weirdly a waste of time, because I knew that this is not where I want to go take it. So
I wouldn't say it's a waste of time. I think it's like realizing a no is also important, as important as realizing a yes in a way. So
yeah,
like knowing
exactly.
that, okay, this is I like it, but it's not the direction I want to go, also matters.
Yeah, so as much as I like it, I didn't feel like it was necessary. I already got what I wanted out of this, which was knowing whether this is the direction I want to go in or not. So I didn't feel like it was absolutely necessary for me to be working on this any further. Even if like initially I planned to. But yeah, that actually might be why I didn't add the fish to the bucket. That might be why I didn't add the fish to the bucket. Yeah.
That's the foreshadowing at the end of the episode. We got the answer for it. It's like we can tell we are among like One Piece followers, fans here, I guess. But okay, we have this kind of final bit of the interview where I ask for a quick tip, for like a 30-second, very quick, like I guess advice or tip that you have that it's meaningful for your process. That's something that you like to do in your paintings. What would be your quick tip for today?
I already gave it away and I'm really annoyed about that, but it was my saturation layer. I like having that on top, but I'm trying to think of something else. And my quick tip, and I feel like I've said so much stuff. Like
maybe the color palettes. You can use that as a quick tip.
Oh, yes, yeah. The color palette website is amazing. It's very useful, and like just taking pictures. I think in general, like when you like the look of something, and you can just save that for later, and then extract colors and basically take inspiration from daily life. But what I was gonna say was slightly more boring, but probably also just as good. I don't work with a white background like ever. I switch it to a white background at the end depending on whether it looks good or not. In this case, I think it does look good, but I either work with like a gray, I either work with like a mid gray like that, which doesn't work for these characters, or like a warm kind of thing, like that ish. And I have no like strong reason for this other than it hurts my eyes to work in white.
That's super valid. Yeah, it's super valid.
I also it does help like when you're like building up like contrast and like characters and stuff to not work from like a white background personally. Yeah, a lot of the times it is purely because I tend to draw and work and do kind of illustrations in the evening when I am exhausted. So I don't want my eyes to get worse than they already are.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Super cool. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, I guess we've reached the end of this conversation. Very, very amazing process. Very like I really like the way you simplified everything, and I think you made it super clear, even though you merged the colors. I think you explained so well each and every step. I feel like I feel like I could design characters for this world. Who knows? Like I know exactly how to follow that style you picked and the way you went through it layer by layer. It's very cool. Very cool. So thank you so much for making the time for this interview. I had to reschedule it because I got sick like last week. We were supposed to do it last week, and thank you so much for being
And then I
for the
got sick.
flexibility. Yeah, that's true. Even though you need to get ready for your birthday party, you still took like cheeky 2 hours.
I still need to do my nails.
Yeah. But tell us how people can find you. Tell us what's going on in your life right now. Tell us anything that you think it's relevant to say to our audience at the end of this conversation.
What's going on in my life? I mean, you can find me on Instagram. I'm what.if.tanisha with dots in between what and if and Tanisha. Yeah, so between each word,
Yeah.
there's a dot, a full stop, whatever they're called. In terms of life, what is going on? It's my birthday in 2 days, so I'm preparing for a birthday party. So just before this call, I was doing my nails, so hopefully they are dry now. But what else? Yeah, on Instagram, I've been posting mostly like traditional stuff. I mentioned at the start, like I'm going to all these like drawing groups, which if you're London based, I recommend you going to. It's called Let's Draw Now London. So they're very, very good groups. I think regardless of what city you're in, you can, I think, sometimes find like groups like this online. There are like communities out there. I recommend finding these people because it's nice to have art friends from different walks of life. I think that's always fun.
Definitely, 100%.
That's me. Over
That's
and out.
it. Thank you so much for this. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. I hope this was helpful for everybody watching this. We got to see this amazing process of these 5 different characters with very different color palettes, each one of them, but they all kind of have a very nice harmony between all of them. And thank you so much again, Tanisha, for taking the time to do this. And that's it, guys. Have a really good week. And next Sunday, we will have a new episode coming out. Take care.
Bye.